Greetings, my fellow freedom-loving sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning to LL3-Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful realms of planet Earth. Today's date is Saturday, September 13th, 2025. This is episode 1896. Arrest of an Irish comic is a free speech warning. Before I proceed, you can find me on multiple social media sites and podcast channels. Just type in Loki Luck number 3, Loki Luck Roman number 3 with 3 eyes, or the Loki Luck Roman number 3 podcast. Furthermore, if you have any questions, comments, recommendations, all that good stuff, whatever you do, please use decorum. Hit me via email to ll3.podcast or proton.me. If you want to donate, go to PayPal at me or cash.app/Loki Luck number 3. If you want to give me a little crypto love and be a disciple on Steemit, go there at LL number 3-podcast. Okay. Well, I actually finally take the initiative on watching the statement from Erica Kirk, who's now widowed, to Charlie at the Turning Point USA. And I have to give her props on what she stated. And one of the areas I have to agree with her completely. The spiritual warfare has been engulfed, enhanced, bigger than before. See, it doesn't, regardless if it was one person or anyone else involved that terminated Mr. Kirk, one of the biggest blunders they've done in the new millennium. And I go along with 9/11 and Milton William Cooper. It doesn't have to be in sequential order. And I say that with fidelity. Like I said in the past episodes, I have my disagreements with certain elements or statements he made. However, the man was principled and pro-freedom of speech. You got those folks out there that try to call him a fascist, a Nazi. All they're doing is shooting blanks. They can't even think for themselves. And it doesn't matter what paradigm you're on. The ones who are saying, get them all for mocking Charlie Kirk. You're playing that Orwellian game, supporting technocracy. They've already been dead. They're a corpse without a soul. They've already been terminated. But they still have the opportunity to redeem themselves and repenting for their actions. But many of them out there can't even contemplate that matter. When you got all the areas, the big pharma, government knows best, all the draconian mind control games, they try to bring us there even during the school education, and so forth. And many of the quote parents and guardians just let them do that and have set there do nothing. That's a lesson too. We always have to think a lot broader than what it is. And what occurred on that horrific event is a war on our natural rights to speak our minds. It's a fact. No rhetoric, no opinions. If your feelings are hurt, I don't care. You can delete me anywhere, any social media site you want. You'll be doing me a favor. You're talking to a gentleman that supports free speech even to Larry Flint, Malcolm X, even Donald Trump, John F. Kennedy, Biko. It doesn't matter. It could be even Richard Spencer. Even all those goofballs. I just laugh at it. They have the right to speak their mind and be like, clowns, no problem. I have the right to counter that. If you can't accept it, folks, there's Cuba. There's Venezuela. There's Israel. There's plenty of places you can't criticize. Go there. Be part of the herd conformity. So I always tell my listeners and all my friends out there I love dearly, Be the sentinel instead of a faction slave or her conformist. Thou shalt never wear a cowbell around your neck because you be representing walking antimatter. And I say that metaphorically. Plus, with fidelity. Expect this movement to go stronger and further than ever before. So this is why, my friends, things are going to be happening. And those oppressors, totalitarian hacks, going to get a lot more what they could chew on. And I said in my past episodes, to counter it, we have to execute our Bill of Rights culture in these United States. Natural rights in our jurisdiction, around the world. Our rights are inalienable, and those ingrates, doesn't matter what rank, what their status is, can't do a damn thing about it. And I noticed too, I was watching one video from Redact, by the Clayton Morris, talking about everything's blown back in their faces. They try to bring their personal attitudes in the business world. They got fired. You got folks out there. One woman was talking smack, and actually they know the husband who operates a business, and it backfired. If I was the husband, I'll probably get her stuff, walk there, get her stuff out the door, and go get the hell out of here, and never come back. They're the kind of people you don't want to be associated with. They're the ones, many of them will toss you under the bus and trap you for material things, little stuff. And I met individuals like that in my life, and I have nothing to do with them. And they're living their miserable lives. Blame everyone but not themselves. We all need to take responsibility for our actions. We have our duty, every single one of us, to ignite the torch of liberty. Let the founding fathers be proud, and all the liberty-minded individuals around the world, let their legacy shine. Okay, well, first thing I'm only going to be reading here came from the American Free Press.net. This is mainly a subscription only. So I take the initiative on looking at it. It was very cool. And it says here, arrest of Irish comic is a free speech warning to Brits as well as Americans. Woke UK censorship laws could immigrate to the United States. This is by Nick Griffin, who's a British journalist, if I'm correct. Let me just go back here in my subscription to American Free Press. And yes, he is. He is a journalist. Yes. Let me see. Actually, he is a nationalist commentator and writer. So, good stuff. So, I will begin with this article. Imagine a world where a simple tweet criticizing a radical activist could land you in handcuffs, dragged away by armed police at an airport, all because you dare to speak your mind. This isn't the plot of some dystopian novel. It's the harsh reality of Graham Linehan, the brilliant Irish comedian and co-creator of the beloved TV show Father Ted, right now in the United Kingdom. Patriotic Americans who cherish First Amendment rights should take this Big Brother arrest as a stark warning for what happens when the radical left seizes the reins of power and turn free speech into a crime punishable by arrest and trial. Linehan, a man whose sharp wit has entertained millions for decades, finds himself ensnared in the web of woke tyranny, arrested and facing court and even prison, simply for criticizing a transgender activist on X. The nightmare began on September 2nd when Linehan, age 57, returned from a trip to Arizona and touched down at London's Heathrow Airport. What should have been a routine arrival turned into a scene straight out of a police state drama. As Linehan, a citizen of the Irish Republic, stepped off his flight, he was accosted by 5 armed Metropolitan Police officers who led him away into custody without a moment's notice. It says here, I've arrived in London to discover the UK is still a police state run by trans activists. Linehan wrote in a raw Substack post shortly after his release, capturing the shock and outrage of the moment. Detained for a grueling 16 hours at a police station, he was fingerprinted, DNA swabbed, and questioned relentlessly about his social media activity. At one point, he was so clearly unwell that the police called in a paramedic to give him a blood pressure test, which showed that his reading was dangerously high. Bail conditions were slapped on him, including a ban from posting on X. But thanks to swift intervention by his solicitors and the Free Speech Union, those restrictions were lifted just days later, allowing him to return to the platform and declare, UK police did me 2 favors, made me famous all over the world, and gave me a blood pressure check. This dramatic arrest wasn't for any violent act or real threat. It stemmed from 3 allegedly rude tweets last October in which Linehan criticized the abusive online behavior of an 18-year-old trans activist now calling himself Sophia Brooks. Linehan has long been vocal about his concerns over the transgender movement's impact on women's rights, the physical and mental health of children, and free expression common sense views held by millions of decent people. In one plain truth post, Linehan wrote, if a trans-identified male is in a female-only space, he is committing a violent, abusive act, a statement rooted in his defense of biological reality and women's safety. What started as a defense of his beliefs escalated into what the authorities called relentless harassment, including allegedly encouraging followers to punch transgender women in sensitive areas, a crude but metaphorical jab in the heat of online debate. For this, Linehan was arrested on suspicion of inciting violence and now faces trial at Westminster Magistrates Court, where he's denying charges of harassment. That's the absurdity that there is no victim in this case. My posts were not about an individual, Linehan told reporters outside the first hearing at the court, emphasizing the overreach of a system weaponized against dissenters. The noted writer summarized the situation on Substack. In a country where pedophiles escape sentencing, where knife crime is out of control, and where women are assaulted and harassed every time they gather to speak, the state mobilized 5 armed officers to arrest a comedy writer. This arrest isn't an isolated incident, it's the ugly fruit of a left-wing power grab that's been brewing across the pond for years. In the UK, laws like the Online Safety Act and hate speech regulations are having a chilling effect on all common sense dissent. Linehan's case echoes through the broader crackdown on anyone who challenges the trans agenda, from feminists like J.K. Rowling to everyday folks who post memes questioning the new gender dogma. The left, with their allies in big tech and big media, have redefined hate speech to include any criticism of their sacred cows. One wrong word on social media can lead to arrest at an airport or a dawn raid by armed police literally smashing down your door. The totalitarian pantomime is not just aimed at individual transgressors such as Linehan. The main point of such high-profile injustice is to intimidate the whole population, to silence opposition to the left's rolling cultural Marxist revolution. This is what happens when socialists and their woke enforcers control the levers of government. They weaponize the state against all opponents, labeling truth tellers as bigots and silencing them through the courts. This is one of the bullets Americans dodge by rejecting Kamala Harris, but make no mistake, the left on your side of the pond has precisely the same totalitarian instincts and plans as their counterparts in the UK. We've already seen glimpses, big tech deplatforming conservatives, schools indoctrinating kids with gender ideology, and laws in Democrat-controlled states criminalizing misgendering. Likewise, for all the Supreme Court's welcome stand for free speech, activist judges continue to chip away at the rights of Americans and to frustrate efforts to protect and revive the country. Even in institutions such as the Department of Justice, embedded leftists continue to fight a rearguard action against Donald Trump's efforts to push through a counter-revolution. If you want to see what these people would do in the United States, if the left manages to claw its way back into power, you only need to look to Britain. The Graham Linehan story could all too easily change from being a foreign cautionary tale to become the new normal in the United States as well. Freedom is never free. And what can you say about that to Mr. Griffin? He's absolutely correct. This is what you get when you have everyone be lackadaisical. Our duty is to engage, whether it's federal, state, or local. Any of these totalitarian language or bills or contracts, if they sign it into law, it's invalid, impairing contracts, de facto law, null and void. At least in these United States, we do have a practice called anti-commandeering doctrine, 10th Amendment. Jefferson said nullification is the rightful remedy. It has been used many times. Even on a jury nullifies too. One person to hang a jury. If there's no victim, how is that a crime? Hurting someone's feelings isn't abuse or hate because you never physically or go up to them harassfully, go up to their face or touch them by any means. People get offended, deal with it. That's what freedom of speech is all about. It's a natural right, not a privilege. And even Benjamin Franklin, couple quotes here, made the statement which is relevant today. Whoever would overthrow the liberty of a nation must begin by subduing their freeness of speech. And we're seeing that everywhere in the Western world, including even globally. We can add to other places as well. This is our heritage, our natural rights, which are inalienable. To all those dinkleberries out there, Orwellian snowflakes, herd conformists that believe we should do everything your way, forget about it. Go contaminate space somewhere else. We can do one more here on Ben Franklin on freedom of speech. Without freedom of thought, there can be no such thing as wisdom and no such thing as public liberty without freedom of speech. So all you hacks out there, faction slaves, totalitarian minions, you are nothing but ungrateful maggots. And the reason why I say this, is on principle. Even in my younger years, they try to dictate to me and watch how I think and do for my well good. Well, you know what? It failed. F+ to the core. I'm not perfect and boldly admit that. But I am never, ever gonna censor myself to comfort your ignorance. If you can't handle it, go somewhere else. Because in due time, even during the early days of the United States, if you suppress free speech, that was called treason. And I'll say this. And all you folks out there that want to suppress it, you're less patriotic than Benedict Arnold. Prove me wrong if you dare. I would love to hear from you. And that will be it. I'll thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, recommendations, all that good stuff, whatever you do, please use the quorum. You could go to contact me via email to ll3.podcast@proton.me. I will leave the title of this page, but if you want to read it in its entirety, you have to subscribe. Or when I go look for Nick Griffin. And if you want to donate, go to PayPal at me or Cash App /look3. If you want to follow me on Steemit, give me a little crypto love there. I'm there at LL3-Podcast. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that the demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.